Hello and welcome back to the Matt Malone Patron League. We are here for season number 3. We have got round number 7 coming your way from the fantastic Phillip Island circuit, and we are heading out this week in the Indycars. It is going to be a very fun event. There is absolutely no doubt about that, because we have got a championship fight on our hands after the first 6 rounds of competition. We are heading into the final 4 rounds, and we are going to be going to our first week's break next time out. But for now, we are going to be heading around the fantastic Phillip Island circuit. We go out again in 2 weeks' time around Bristol Dirt in the mini stocks on April 4th. It's almost in a world of its own, because we take another week off before we return in the P2s at the Red Bull Ring on April 18th. And then we head to Chicago on the TCRs, April 25th, to finish the 3rd season of competition. Who is going to end on top at the end of this one? And that question genuinely is a question that cannot be answered. Even after 6 rounds of competition, it is a complete unknown. Season number 1 came down to the final race, of course. If you remember back to Daytona, Slugger took the championship victory over Matty Gwill in the Pontiac Solstices. We then went into season 2. We thought it couldn't get any closer. It went down to the final round again, and it went to Richard Dempsey ahead of Matty Gwill. A single point separated those, and crucially, if we had no drop points on last season's 10-round event, it would have gone the way of Matty Gwill. Those drop weeks actually benefiting Richard Dempsey, and he is getting the benefit again this season as we look at the championship standings. After 6 rounds of asking, Richard Dempsey is at the top of the order with 81 points to his name. He sits 2 points clear of Checkers and Big Al, who are tied in second right now with 79 points. But Dempsey, those drop weeks playing to his favour again. He is dropping just 15 points. I say just, he is dropping 15 points. It is a huge amount of points he's dropping for a 6th place finish that he got last week out in the Rallycross cars. He did not attend the first round of the season, remember, so he is also getting a drop on that one. However, the man currently tied in second, Big Al, with 79 points to his name, he does sit with 20 points in his advantage. He got 9th place 2 weeks ago. He got 13th place last week, and that does put 20 points to his name in the drop column, which means if we had no drop points in this championship, Richard Dempsey would be in second place with 96 points, and Big Al would be in first with 99 points. So those drop points are once again aiding Richard Dempsey to the top of the championship. He will be hoping that he can get some more points to his name today, and he won't need to fall back on those 15 he has in hand from last week. Checkers was looking very quick in the open practice server that was up earlier on. He was one of the fastest in there, so he could find his way back towards the front. He has won 1 race so far this season. He has got all 3 podium positions throughout the season, a first, a second and a third. Of course, he did not turn up to Willow Springs in the V8 Supercars. It's the only round he has missed. He is also dropping points for 14th place. That is 7 points that he has in his back pocket at the moment. But as we prepare for round number 7 here at Phillip Island in the Indycars, I think it is also really important to remember that our drivers right now have not won more than 1 race in a season. There has not been a repeat pole sitter yet in this season. Big Al took pole back in the Porsche Cup. It took him until round 4 at Willow Springs to take his victory. He managed to do it in the V8 Supercars. It was Checkers who took the win number 1 at the beginning of the season. Mads Lunde took pole position at Buxton in the spec racer Fords. However, connection issues meant that he couldn't take the grid. Richard Dempsey benefited from that. It was a 3 wide across the line with Dempsey, Checkers and Matty Grill, but it was Richard Dempsey that came out on top in that one. The Formula Vs, we saw Kevin Parrish become the first driver to go pole to checkered flag. He got his first and only pole of the season, followed by his first and only win at Mugello. Matty Grill managed to place his car on pole for the first time at in the V8 Supercars at Willow Springs, but as I alluded to, Big Al was the driver who came in to take race victory, and not only first victory of the season, his first victory in league history, which took him a total of 25 races to get to, but he managed to do it, and a great congratulations for him for that one. We then saw more new winners and pole sitters. Master Yoda Racing became the second man at Michigan to get pole and the win in the same race weekend, and that was in the Xfinity cars, of course. And then last week, it was the heat race for the first time in league history. We tried the new format, and it was an interesting one, no doubt about that. It was Rydog who was the fastest in qualifying, the fastest in his heat, and the fastest in the race session. He took his first victory in league history as well. If you want to find out all of the stats, then make sure you head across to josephwrightbroadcasting.com/Matt Malone, and you can find all of the statistics. And we are a week behind on the race results on the Season 3 page, but we will get the results and the standings up visible for you there. We are also going to become available the PDF document that I have all of the stats in as well, so you guys can have a nice downloadable copy of the race results for this season. We are about 4 minutes away until the official server goes live, and therefore we'll be jumping into qualifying. Of course, these IndyCars are going to allow push to pass for our drivers. It is the first time that we have got any assist in that manner in the Matt Malone Patreon League. It's going to be interesting to see how drivers utilise it, where they can find their time here. And are we going to see a repeat pole sitter, a repeat race winner, or are we going to go 7-4-7? This is the furthest we have ever gone in league history in a single season before a repeat driver has gone on to take a win or a pole position. Can we see that today, or are we going to extend the statistic? If you're anything like me, you're going to hope we see a new pole sitter and a new race winner. It makes it interesting. The championship fight's still very much alive for a lot of drivers. 100 points are still available on the board, which means mathematically every single driver is still involved in this championship right now, even if you are not you haven't taken part in any races so far, or you'll sit on 0 points, you still mathematically are in it by just a single point. That will obviously go away at the end of today. We'll see who will still be eligible for the championship when we head into the first of our dirt oval races, which we'll have in 2 weeks' time. Of course, no race next week due to the Sebring 12 hour. So make sure that you are hitting that follow button over on the Twitch page if you're watching at twitch.tv/Joseph Wright TV. And if you're watching over live on the YouTube page, youtube.com/@Joseph Wright TV, then make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And that way you'll be notified when we go live. And if you are watching over on the YouTube or you're watching over on the Twitch, make sure you are checking out the YouTube, because all of the highlight videos will be available. In fact, the extra week off in the Matt Malone Patreon League is going to be excellent, because we are off of our work. I'm off of my job in about a week's time for a couple of weeks. That means we'll catch up with all the highlight videos and get some extra content posted over on that YouTube as well. Right then, we are going to take a quick break here in the broadcast as we get into the official server, and we have a little bit of a look at the event that is going to be lined up for you. Qualifying will be ongoing in just a moment's time, and we will bring it all to you in about 5 more minutes. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Hello and welcome back here to Phillip Island as we will prepare for the 7th round of Asking Qualifying. Is just getting underway in the background, and we welcome you here to the commentary booth for the first time tonight. I am super excited about this one. It's a fast track. These are some fast cars, and I know open wheelers race really, really well around Phillip Island. My best memories from iRacing in recent years has definitely been the Formula 4s around this very circuit. It really does invite you into overtaking during the race. There's a lot of good slipstream, and of course in these Indycars as well, you have got that push to pass which will be utilised in the race, not in qualifying. Of course, they cannot use it in this qualifying session. It is all about their pure pace that they can put behind the wheel. Championship standings then, as we were mentioning before, Richard Dempsey at the top of those ones, but he is only 2 points clear over Al Latufu in that Big Al nickname, of course, and Ian Lane under the nickname of Checkers. So we were going to see how they get on today. Obviously, other big names in there trying to get involved. Kevin Parrish has taken a win so far this season. Matty Gwill yet to actually win so far this season after coming runner-up in both Season 1 and Season 2. What can he do here? What can he do this season? Right then, the big question on your mind, on my mind, I think on everyone's mind, is who is going to get pole position here? Are we going to see our first repeat of the season, or are we going to see our 7th new pole sitter of season number 3? Without further ado then, let's get down onto the track and see how this session is going on. With 20 minutes left on the board, it is Big Al who is the fastest out there right now. But with that being said, he gets beaten to the top by Checkers, who's just gone across the line and got a 1:14.585 onto the board. Papanokums get it into a top 5 right now as well. We have a few drivers still in pit lane. They'll be preparing to get themselves out of the pits and involved in this one. Some big names not in here yet, but I know that they were just finishing off on some previous races, and they do have about 18 minutes to get themselves into the session before it closes and we get into our race. And we're back to our usual scheduled programming here today in terms of our race format. No heat racing going on, which means that we just have our qualifying session of 20 minutes. It's 25 minutes officially, but by the time the server opens and you get in, it's about 20 minutes of qualifying, and then we go into our 20-minute race. This is Casket Man heading around at the moment in the number 16 machine. Put on a 22.9 last lap, but it was an invalid lap time for Casket Man, so we'll have to go at it again. And at the moment, it is the 2 drivers tied in second in the championship that are separated by just 16 hundredths of a second. Checkers sits only just ahead of Big Al. It is at a bit of a gap down to Milky Illidales and Mecca. Milky Illidales has not got inside the top 10 yet in a result, has got 3 11 places and a 12th place inside the points, and be looking to try and get into that top 10. Kevin Parrish gets on the board in 7th position as Casket Man has a bit of an issue there. In fact, what happened to Casket Man? I was watching that one. It was I'm now broken. What happened to Casket Man? Because I'm going to have to have a little look back. I can't get back in the replay there. It looks like it was contact with a slow driver, wasn't it? It was. Car pulled off the way and he had a bit of a slide, unfortunately for him on that one. Kevin Parrish is who I was talking about. Parrish sitting 5th right now in the championship, in the race. He is sitting 4th in the championship. He is dropping a 10th place result of 11 points. He was not here last week for the Rallycross event at Sonoma. Of course, there were more than 20 drivers who raced last week, but only 16 of them got points because their points only pay out in the feature race, which means those drivers doing the consolation race who didn't get through into the feature did not score any points to their name, which meant that on our standings, actually on my PDF document, it has 4 drivers that has a DNS for the first ever time in my league history statistics, because they did not start the final feature race where the points were on offer. A mix of tyres on our cars out there. We've got the Red Bull, the White Bull. The Red Bull, the faster of the tyres. The White Bull, the slower, harder compound of the tyres. And as it stands, Kevin Parrish is on the White Bull tyre. He is on that harder compounder tyre here, and seeing what he can do on these harder tyres. Will he be jumping onto the softer tyres a little bit later on? We see Matt Malone now into the server as well, and he's in the number 18 machine, and seeing what he is able to do as he comes out of turn number 2. And of course, it's a kink to the left-hand side, and then heavy onto the brakes once more. We swing across to the right, get close to that apex, push it out, and then again you want to get back to the right-hand side now because the circuit loops around to the left. It's a very flowing circuit, it's a very, very quick circuit. You put your foot back on the throttle once more, and now you've got the S's through. You go to the left, to the right again, then you start climbing the hill as you go up towards the left here, and then you get down onto the brakes. So you lift off a little bit there, did Malone. He gets onto the brakes. The tightest corner on the circuit there, swings to the right. This is where we saw issues earlier on for Casket Man. Malone lifts off a little bit, trying to keep his car settled, and he comes through the final corner here. Matt Malone will come to cross the timing line. What will it be for the league organizer, for the man it is all about? He crosses the timing line. It's a 22.7. I believe that then was an out lap for him, and he will be going again. No, he does. That was actually a valid lap for him, but 8 seconds off the pace. So I think that was a out lap actually. I think this is just another one of those circuits like VIR that you can actually get a lap time in. Oh, that's a lot of gravel, and obviously we saw someone spin in the background as well. It's one of those circuits you can get a lap time in even on your out lap, because the pit lane's technically after your pit stop. After the the timing line is technically after the pit exit. That's what I was meaning to say. Right, Malone will be trying to get a good time onto the board here. Richard Dempsey also got onto the board further back as well, and will be looking to try and put in a representative lap time on their second time around the circuit. Checkers are sitting at 1:14.585 right now on provisional pole position. Matt Malone runs extremely deep through the tightest corner on the circuit there, and he will come up towards the timing line to see if he can improve on his 22.782. It was a very slow lap, sorry to say so, but he did obviously go very deep into the hairpin. Where will it place Matt Malone? Good enough for 10th right now. Qualifying has never been Matt Malone's strong suit. There's no doubt about that, of course. He normally finds himself down the order in qualifying. He pulls himself back up during the races. If I'm not mistaken, on the statistics as well, Malone, I think, has only ever gotten one pole position. As I head over to the same place you can to get your statistics, if you head over to josephwrightbroadcasting.com/Matt Malone. You can also find the league statistics like I am right now. Yes, Matt Malone is on only one pole position in league history, and if my mind takes me back, that was in season number 1, round number 3, I believe it was, when we were in the Porsches at Road Atlanta. He took it to a lights to flag victory there. And it's the one and only time he has taken pole. He's won 3 races, of course. Richard Dempsey sits at the top of our league records. He has 6 wins to his name, 7 pole positions. Only 4 drivers in league history have got more than 1 pole position. Dempsey's got 7, Matty Gwill has got 5, Slugger with 3, Luke Sudds with 2. But here's a few more repeat winners, 6 of those. Dempsey with 6, Gwill with 4, Malone with 3, Slugger with 3, Checkers with 2, and Auburn Kyle with 2. We'll be seeing what happens here today, though. Are we going to get another repeat, or are we going to see a new name on the board? We talked about it earlier on. We have gone 6 rounds so far, and in those 6 rounds, as Papa No Crumbs goes around, in those 6 rounds, we have had 6 different drivers take pole position. We have had 6 different drivers take race victory. Mads Lunde has taken a pole without race victory. Matty Gwill has taken a pole without race victory. There are only 2 drivers to do that so far this season, and Checkers and Richard Dempsey are your only 2 drivers this season who have taken a victory without a pole position. But the points are paid out in qualifying, of course, and in race, of course, not qualifying, which means that you don't need to be up there in the qualifying session. It's all about the race session, and we look at the number 19 machine of Richard Dempsey right now. He is the man at the very top of the championship order. His worst result so far this season has been a 6th place, which is being dropped. He did not attend race number 1, which means he does not get the 2 drops, because officially it is dropping that 0 points round, of course, that he did not attend. But he is looking, as he pulls over to the side, at repeating his season 2 statistic that he was trying to maintain. Of course, for a very long time, Richard Dempsey always finished inside the top 5. Season number 1, he finished inside the top 5 in every single race he competed at. Season number 2, it became the top 10. If I'm not mistaken, though, he did fall out of that one in the end, but he's keeping inside the top 10 for now. Checkers finds improvement on that lap. Only a small piece of improvement as he follows that around Casket Man, but it does just open that door up a little bit more to Big Al. Now, Checkers has taken a victory so far this season. However, he has not taken pole position, so as it stands, we will get a 7th different pole sitter in 7 races if Checkers maintains at the top of this. We still have 10 minutes left of qualifying, though, as Milky Illadelph finds his way off-road. Rallycross was last week, I'm afraid to say. We're back onto the road courses today. Intervals between drivers are extremely close. Matty Gwill, he's sitting 5th place in the championship right now with 66 points. He will not be wanting to stay further down the order over those championship rivals. Season 3 could have been his, but it looks like after a very strong first 2 seasons, getting runner-up in both of those, he might be a bit further down the championship this time around. He is still up there inside the top 5 right now, and certainly you cannot discount him from a potential championship. Mathematically, everyone in the league still available in the to win the championship, but the likelihood is very slim, especially after the race is completed today. It'll likely discount a lot of our bottom runners from mathematically taking that championship right now. Realistically, Richard Dempsey, Big Al, Checkers, Parrish, Matty Gwill, I would even go down to Matt Malone, are very likely to have an opportunity at this championship if they have some decent races coming forth. I might even drop Malone off of that list, actually, and say that even Matty Gwill is a bit of a distant hopeful at this stage. We'll have to see what it's about, but there you go. There are our top 5 in the championship that I would say are very much still within the championship fight, heading into the final 4 rounds of asking. It is Checkers, the fastest out there right now, and looking to make it a 3rd pole position in his Matt Malone Patron League campaign. 2nd, I should say. He took 1 last season. It was at the Oval race in which he did that. I'm trying to think where it was. I think it was Chicagoland he got pole position. No, I discount my theory. It was Charlotte in season 1 was the last time that Checkers was able to come out on top in qualifying. He is yet to get a pole position on a road course. Today could be that opportunity. There is still gravel all around this circuit as drivers have found their way into the vast array of gravel tracks around the circuit. We watch Matty Gwill here on his what is 10th lap of asking in this qualifying session. He sits clear of Matt Malone right now. Matt Malone in 11th position. That's a broken car there on the side of the circuit, but Matty Gwill is sitting in 10th position ahead of Matt Malone. Matt Malone, the first of the drivers outside of 1 second of your provisional pole sitting driver in Checkers right now, and Gwill goes deep into the tightest corner on the circuit. That is something we have been seeing all throughout qualifying. I expect to see it through the race as well. Big Al still out there on those white wall tyres, putting in these lap times, which are the harder compounded tyres right now. Checkers have done it on the soft. It's a rainbow out there between the red and white wool tyres. But it is fastest for Checkers in the 98 machine. And he sits 0.036 of a second clear. There are some really close intervals out there, though, as Big Al pulls over to the side. Papa No Crumbs is just 0.003 of a second off of Meckham, and Richard Dempsey gets past Milky Illidales to move into a top 5 position here in qualifying, as we have just 5 minutes left on this board for drivers to find their way as close to the front as they possibly can. But do not forget that the points are only paid out in the race, and drivers such as Matt Malone, Auburn Kyle, we've seen them benefit greatly in a race session after they've had a lowly qualifying session. Meckham finds time on that previous lap. He goes up into 5th position right now, and it is season 1 champion of Slugger, who is running around 4th fastest in this session. Slugger had a very difficult season 2. There is no doubt about that. He managed to take home a top 10 in the end in the championship. He is outside of the top 10 right now in the championship. 11th place, in fact, for our season 1 champion in the number 17 machine as he goes around and needs to get himself sorted. Slugger, history in this season has got no run. He retired from the Porsches. If I'm not mistaken, that was a connectivity thing. There was some issue for Slugger in the opening round. Round 2, when we went to Thruxton, he did come home in 7th, but then he retired when we went out here at Mugello. He was caught up in that opening lap accident, of course. Then when we went off to Willow Springs, he got another 7th place finish at the Oval, Michigan. He came home into 16th position. 9th position last week, though, in the Rallycross. So total of 45 points for him. He is definitely out of the championship fight. Not mathematically, but realistically, and no drop points on the board for him because he does have those 2 DNF, those 2 non-point scoring rounds, which are off of the table. Provi is sitting in 13th position right now in this session. He sits less than half a tenth off of Auburn Kyle. Auburn Kyle has taken a pole position so far in league history. He's yet to do it this season, of course, but he did take pole position last season. No, he didn't, sorry. He took race wins, but not pole positions, I should say. He took 2 race wins towards the back end of season number 2. It pulled him up into 3rd in the championship, potentially into the fight, but it wasn't quite enough for him. But Auburn Kyle right now in the championship is sitting in 8th place. He was not able to attend the Oval Rouse at Michigan. He DNF'd back in Thruxton, but he's taken points everywhere else so far this season. No drop points for him. Provi, however, he is sitting 16th position in the championship. He's tied with Bob's Jelly. He's missed 1 week. He has taken 1 non-point scoring round, which means he has 37 points on the board, nothing in his back pocket for the rest of this season. His best result so far has been an 8th place. That was last week around Sonoma in the Rallycross cars. Outside of that, it was 10th place back at Thruxton. He has finished in the points in all bar 1 of the races he's attended, though. He wasn't able to get into the points at Michigan in the end. That Oval, always a bit of a spanner in the works for our drivers. And of course, last week with the Rallycross, it was a bit of a spanner in the works as well with a new race winner, new pole sitter in Rydog. He is not here today. We have 19 drivers out there in this session as we count down to the final 1.5 minutes there, which means that everyone is going to be scoring points here today and taking the maximum amount of points that they can out of this one. They just need to take a good start to this one, because with the open wheeler cars, a little bit of contact is going to cause some major issues for you out there. So you're going to want to try and avoid it. Get off the opening lap or 2. It should be interesting to see how it goes. Right, DDO Deadman is running around in 18th position right now. He runs ahead of Space Ghost. Space Ghost is a fair bit off the pace at the moment, trying to get to grips of the IndyCar. It is only the 4th open wheeler car that we have had in league history. It is the fastest open wheeler car that we have had in league history. We've obviously had the Formula Vs 2 times now, and we had what else did we have? We had another one, and I cannot remember what it was now, but we have had the Formula Vs a couple of times. But yeah, these are definitely the fastest open wheeler cars that we are heading out, and with 25 seconds on the board, drivers will be finishing their lap times. But it does look like we are going to go for our 7th different pole sitter this season, and Checkers is going to find himself onto the pole position list and take a 2nd pole position in league history. But in this season, in 7 qualifying sessions, 7 different drivers are going to find their way to the front, unless one of our 5 drivers out there right now is able to improve on their last laps of asking. Richard Dempsey is one of those. He will be looking to try and improve. Slugger comes up towards the timing line now. Slugger crosses the timing line, but it's a 17.2. We then got Casket Man up ahead of Dempsey. That will be the next one across the timing line. Casket Man gets a 17.0 for him. Then it will be Dempsey. Will it be a bit quicker than his 15 flat? It's a 14.8. It is quicker, but it doesn't move him up any time. And then Big Al will be the last man across the line. Is it an improvement for him? No, a very slow final lap in qualifying here. And with that being said, qualifying is done around Phillip Island. And for the 7th time this season, we have a 7th different pole sitter as we go 7 for 7 in qualifying. And with that being said, we are going to get a rolling start for this one, which means that we can have a proper talk through our grid. No rushing this time, as drivers will get themselves down onto the grid for the race here, and it'll be round number 7. We take a week off next week, so drivers will be hoping to go into the first break of the season with a bit of an advantage if they can. Dempsey, Big Al, Checkers, they will all be wanting to be the driver leading the championship after this one. I would say that Kevin Parrish even has an opportunity to lead the championship after this one, and they all start at the top. The top 4 in this grid are your top 4 in your championship, just in a slightly different order. With that being said then, we are going to get our drivers prepared onto the grid for this one. So let's have a look at how our grid is going to start. Checkers is going to start at the very front of the order ahead of Big Al. Kevin Parrish will start in P number 3, and Richard Dempsey, championship leader, will start in 4th place. 5th place will be for Slugger ahead of Mecharm in 6th. 7th for Manny Quill, and Milky Yellowdales will start in 8th position inside the top 10. He could get his first top 10 result of the season there. Matt Malone will start this one in 11th ahead of Auburn Kyle in 12th position. 13th place is for Provi, and then Right Click in 14th. Carl Ditch will start this one in 15th out of Casket Man. Tony Jabroni will start this race in 17th place. DDO Deadman from 18th on the grid. And Space Ghost will be starting 19th and last in this 7th round of competition. And for the 2nd time this season, we are going to be getting a rolling start. It is the first road course rolling start that we are going to have had this season. Not in league history, however. Of course, we remember all the way back to the inaugural event of the Matt Malone Patron League back at Okayama in the GT4's season number 1, round number 1. And with that as well, we're going to have to take just a quick moment there as they head past the cameras. Listen to that sound of the cars as they go past the cameras there. With that being said as well, the first time we ever had a rolling start, we've got to remember that Matt Malone made a bit of an error, and we went for 2 formation laps. Hopefully that won't be the case here. It's a little bit longer than the Okayama circuits, of course, but it is going to be Checkers who starts this one from the very front. in the number 98 machine, and will be hoping to try and do something with this pole position. Checkers won the opening round of the season back in the Porsche Cups at Silverstone. He'll be hoping to try and take his second win this season. If he does, it'll be the first time this season we have had a repeat winner. In 6 races so far, we've had 6 different race winners: Checkers, Dempsey, Parish, Big Al, Master Yoto Racing, and Rydog. The top 4 on your starting grid, the top 4 in the championship, all of them have taken a victory this season. Your first driver who's not taken a victory in the grid right now is 5th place Slugger, but Slugger has taken a number of victories in previous seasons. He was your season 1 champion, of course. Richard Dempsey, your defending champion this season, currently leading the championship. But if we just have a quick peek on the formation lap, if the race was to end the way it begins, Checkers would be going into our week's break with the championship lead, 4 points clear of Big Al. Dempsey would be down to 3rd position. Parish would maintain 4th, and Gwill would maintain 5th. That would be if it ended the way that they ran right now, but I doubt it will. This is going to be interesting to see how it goes, especially for some of these drivers that are getting into these IndyCars for the first time, or for the first time in a very long time. Of course, the new IndyCar coming out recently as well, which means that this one not used as much by drivers that do want to jump into the IndyCar. However, this one is a brilliant car. Right then, pace car is off. Checkers is in control of the field, and he goes midway through the final corner. Checkers puts his foot down and pulls away from the front of the field. Straight away, Richard Dempsey on the outside is going to look for second. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. No, we're not. We settle down. It's turn number 1, but Dempsey is hit. He slides, and Richard Dempsey, championship leader, finds himself falling down the field here on the opening lap of Asking, as Auburn Kyle gets overtaken by Matt Malone on the outside of turn number 2. Milky Illidaus also falls to the rear end of the field here on the opening lap of Asking. We go into turn number 3. Malone still side by side here with Auburn Kyle. Kyle gets the speed, moves back into peak number 9. Out towards the front of your field though, and it is not over for Checkers. Big Al's right behind him. Matty Gwill now under attack from Slugger, but Gwill maintains 4th position. Matty Gwill up 3 places on the opening lap of Asking here as we get towards the end of the lap. We will have a little bit of a look at what happened to Richard Dempsey. It was a little bit of a touch, of course. As we'll have to jump back just a bit further than that. It almost went 3 wide. It was Parish on the inside. It was just the smallest bit of touch, and then when you try and control it like that, of course, Dempsey thrown to the other end of the circuit. Milky Illidaus also then had issues. Contact from behind sent Milky Illidaus around. DDO Deadman was then caught up in all of these issues going on at the corner, the following corner as well. Right then, we go back to live pictures, and we jump ourselves back up towards the very front of the field. You can see on the left-hand side there, drivers that are using those push-to-passes to try and close some gaps, but also make some overtakes. Auburn Kyle and Matt Malone once again are going side by side. They are now fighting out for 8th position, and it is Auburn Kyle maintains ahead of Malone once more. As we look, Malone's got the push to pass, and he is going to go to the inside and up into 8th position there. Richard Dempsey on the recovery drive up to 14th place as it stands. We head up towards the heavy braking zone here, the tightest corner on the circuit. And your race leader, Checkers, pulling out a half a second advantage, but your 3 podium sitters have pulled away from the rest of the field as it stands. It could still be opportunity for Big Al or for Parish to take race victory here. Checkers looking for the double, all of them looking for their 2nd wins of the season right now. Mecharm looking to try and get past Matt Malone, as Meckham has dispatched Auburn Kyle in the early stages of this one. Provy falls out of the race, and Richard Dempsey has had another issue. Parrish goes around the outside of Big Al though, but Big Al is trying to keep his wheel in, and he certainly does keep his wheel in. But Parrish now up into second position. What has happened to Richard Dempsey? It's a bit too much of a curving on the inside, and it was the collection with Provy, and they are both down and out of the race. On the second lap of asking, Richard Dempsey will take his first DNF of the season. He will reinstate the 15 points that he dropped last week, but it means he still will lose the championship lead going into our week's break ahead of round number 8. A little bit of a kick out on the rear end of Slugger here. Slugger looking to try and get a strong result. This right now would be his best result of the season. He's yet to get inside the top 5 in season number 3. Through turn number 1 comes Big Al. He fell down to third position behind Kevin Parrish. Parrish, of course, will now be looking to try and get his way through. Watch Casket Man chasing down here as well, as they all come through the midfield. Casket Man has got Right Click behind him and looking to see if Right Click is able to do something. As we can see, the push to pass is there. That's what I wanted, but not on that one. We can see how long they've gotten their push to pass, and we will get this one back to our intervals. There we go. We can see the timer now, which is what I'm sure some of you are so keen on finding out. So we jump back up towards this lead fight. Checkers leading the way. Parrish is right behind right now, and as you can see, Parrish has got more of the push to pass in hand for him right now. As Auburn Kyle looks for a moment to try and get up the inside of lap traffic, he will have to wait behind for the time being, but he will have an opportunity here up towards the timing line. We ride on board with Auburn Kyle sitting in 10th position. Kyle has shown he has good pace in the open wheel of machines. He'll be looking to try and get past that traffic. And Meckham just up ahead. We go up towards the timing line here. No push to pass for Auburn Kyle or for lap traffic. Meckham was using the push pass to try and keep himself ahead as well. Right Click then has an issue. Finds himself spinning around, and just about avoided there was Milky Illidales, who just about got away from that without any contact. Is Richard Dempsey back out on circuit? He is, which means he is going to be, as it stands, taking 3 points, is it 4 points out of this one. But it will be his drop points, but we've seen in season number 1, points really those drop points do come back and help you win the championship. You think the last season, Dempsey won the championship by 1 singular point. So he will try and finish this one, take any points that he can. If anyone else goes out as well, it means he'll be promoted up the order. That being said, Tony Jabroni has major issues with his front wing already in the number 14. It goes for a spin on the exit of turn number 3. Whoa! Auburn Kyle is into the air. Contact with lap traffic. What has just happened here? I think lap traffic spun it. He did. He had a slide. It was then slamming on the brakes to hold it. And over the top there, Wayne Auburn Kyle with that. Wayne Auburn Kyle, and with that, he is down pit lane as well, as he struggles to get his car down pit lane. It might give advantage to Richard Dempsey, who will be able to go up the order in that one. Right, back to your podium fight here. It is Big Al chasing down Checkers, and Parrish has got the lead. That happened when we were looking at everything else going on. We need to have a jump back to see where this position changed. Kevin Parrish, was it through the main? It was along the main straight here. No, it wasn't. It was onto the braking zone, actually, of turn number 3. Kevin Parrish got to the inside, using push to pass to his full advantage there, and Kevin Parrish is into the lead. He won in Mugello the last time we were in an open wheel machine. Checkers looking to try and take that one. Right then, let's have a quick update about halfway through this standings. As it stands, Checkers and Parish would be tied at the top of the order with 100 points apiece. Out of this one, Big Al will be in third, just 3 points back. Richard Dempsey 4 points back. Will then on the outer fringes of this championship. But right, if it ended the way that it is right now, the top 4 in your championship would be separated by just 4 points. Auburn Kyle has just received another meatball flag. No, he hasn't. Sorry, that was he clearing his meatball flag. Casket Man has had an issue though, so let's go and have a look at this one. It's a slide to the right. Sam's on the brakes. He'll get himself back going again though. Richard Dempsey is out there lapping. He's 20 seconds off of the rear end of Auburn Car right now. He is hoping for something to go on between drivers ahead of him so he can benefit from more of those. He will be picking up a few points that'll be dropped, of course, but they are then in his back pocket, and he needs them because right now Big Al has 20 points in his back pocket because he is dropping a 9th and a 13th. I mean, Checkers is dropping 7 points, but Parish, he's dropping 11 points right now. Dempsey is dropping 15, but they will be reinstated. Matty Gwill at the moment dropping 18 points. As it stands, he will still be dropping those 18 points as well. So he still has a number of points in hand. But of course, that doesn't matter if he continues to have strong results. Those drop weeks will not come back to help him out. It just means those drivers that have missed a round or have had a bad round, like Richard Dempsey today, can benefit from that. Of course, Dempsey not getting here round number 1. Now having a still a points finish, but an 18th position finish in this one. Right, Matt Malone, we talked about the fact that he's not the best in a qualifying session, but you get into a race session and he finds his way moving towards the top. Well, he's up to 7th right now, chasing down Slugger, the season 1 champion for 6th place. Tony Jabroni has just had an issue and lost a bit of time, but he's back going again. Kevin Parish has pulled out 2 seconds at the front here. Has something happened for Checkers on the last lap of Askin? Because that gap is huge. And look at the amount of push to pass that Parish still has in hand here. That is ridiculous amount of time out there that Parish has. He is on the white wall tyres though. Is it potentially that the tyres are just going off on the red wall that Checkers and Big Al are on the white walls are just coming into play here? I mean, there is every potential that those tyres are just not working out in the longer run in this session. Of course, they've run for about 9 laps of asking now. Matt Malone gets right to the rear end of Slugger. He'll be looking to try and find his way past, but he's going to want to try and do it as cleanly as he potentially can. Here he looks slightly to the inside as Slugger runs the wider line, and he is going to get towards the inside here. It's side by side from Matt Malone and Slugger. Slugger wobbles and there's contact. Matt Malone slides, but he holds it. Slugger keeps it going as well. That could have ended in absolute disaster, but both drivers keep it on the road. How did we just survive that? The wobble, the contact, and they just both kept it going. Absolutely amazing. This is on board Slugger. There's the wobble, there's the contact. Oh, look at that. This is on board Matt Malone. Contact. Onto the brakes to hold it. Gets back on the throttle. What a save that was there from both drivers involved, because if Slugger hadn't been aware as well, he could have gone straight into the back of the slowing Malone there. So from both drivers, that was absolutely top-notch from them. Right, Milky Illados has had a further issue here. Finds himself spinning in the 9. He keeps it out of the barrier. Crucially though, TTO Deadman has also found himself around. Finds himself facing the wrong way. He gets it turned though, and then I mentioned earlier that Tony Jabroni had another issue. He is contending still with that front wing damage. He runs off in the same location that Malone had to make his save. Right then, we are back towards the front. Kevin Parrish here looking for his second win of the season to take the championship lead, tied with Checkers. Checkers will just be trying to keep it ahead of Big Al here because he's going to want to try and maximise his points. Of course, Checkers has took second place last week as well. Back-to-back second places won't harm him too much. His worst result so far this season of 14th. He's taken 1 victory, 1 second, 1 third, 1 sixth. Could it be another podium for him? Big Al is in with a chance of the championship for the first time. Season number 1, he was just out of reaches. Season number 2, he fell down a little bit, but he is back in it. This season, he's been up there all season long with a potential championship. He remains up there with a potential championship right now, and with the drop points still in his advantage, he can have a bad weekend. Not that he'll want one, of course. Alan Tupu's worst result so far this season, a 13th, but he also has a 9th position that can be reinstated, as well as he has a couple of bad goes at it. That being said, the gap about 0.7 of a second between Checkers and Big Al. It is just over 2 minutes of push to pass that Big Al has to spare here. Checkers has got less than a minute. Mecharm is out. Space Ghost is out of push to pass. So they are going to just be running on pure engine pace as it stands. Matt Malone 4 seconds off of Matty Quill, but a 6th position result will still be strong for him. In fact, it will be tied with his second strongest finish. He got a 2nd place all the way back at Mugello, but 6th place has been his best result outside of that, and he's got that twice at round 1 and at round 4. It looks like he'll be doing it again at round number 7 if everything stays the way that it is right now. Lap Traffic and Tony Gibboni are out there fighting together. They've both got push to pass active along the straights. Lap Traffic's got the tow though to help him. Tony Gibboni, of course, has that has some front wing damage on the front hand side. And I say damage, I mean the whole front hand right hand side is missing. Lap Traffic goes to the inside but can't quite carry the speed along on that inside line. We now head up towards the braking zone of turn number 3. We've seen both of these drivers have issues with the rear end of the car, but more often than not, Tony Gibboni has found himself facing the wrong way. But he keeps it going straight right now. Big Al less than half a second behind Checkers as it stands, as we're coming up towards the final 4 laps of asking, and we head through the back end of the circuit. Parrish has just pulled so much speed ahead of these guys, and again he has hardly used his push to pass there. 169 seconds of push to pass still available as Milky Illidales finds his way off the circuit. It looks like he's had a loss on the rear end. He certainly has, and it moves Carl Ditch up into 11th position right now. Carl Ditch and Milky Illidales on the left-hand side. A great cool animation there, so you can see who is using the push to pass alongside how much we've got left. Matty Quill out of that push to pass now. Matt Malone still has push to pass, but is 3.5 seconds behind. So will he be able to close up that gap with what is 79 seconds of push to pass still in the bag? Checkers still has about 35 seconds here, but it is ticking down, and he's going to be going into the last couple of laps on almost without any push to pass whatsoever, whereas Big Al has over 2 minutes in hand. Not that he has been using much of it though, but he is now down 1.2 seconds on Checkers. I'm sure he'll be looking to try and find that speed in the next lap or two to move his way back up towards the drivers ahead. Lap Traffic here, half a second behind Milky Illidales. A few seconds left for Lap Traffic in that push to pass. It could get him through and ahead of Milky Illidales, but will Milky Illidales then be able to use the push to pass in return of that favour? Right, they've both got push to pass active. Lap Traffic runs out though, and Milky Illidales is just going to carry it a little bit longer, but Lap Traffic stays ahead. Milky Illidales has that further 60 seconds that he can use. Right, the gap at the front has become increasingly small for Papa No Crumbs. Papa No-Comes now is trying to get involved in this one. He sits in 4th place right now. Could take away the podium position from one of your championship contenders ahead. Matt Malone has closed the gap down to Matty Gwill to less than 2 seconds with that push to pass. Papa No-Comes is down to just 10 seconds though. And I do think Big Al is just saving it. It'll be white flag, I believe, next time around the circuit. If my calculations on my timing screen are correct. Checkers using up so much more of his push to pass there. He's only got 20 seconds left. Papa No-Comes looks to the inside of Big Al. He has only got 10 seconds of push to pass to help him out along the main straight, whereas Big Al has got a lot more to support himself. Still over 2 minutes of push to pass. Kevin Parrish has hardly touched his push to pass out at the front. He has just been showing phenomenal pace out there. This is your fight though for your podium positions. That was smoke being kicked up as Big Al locks up the front right into the tightest corner on the circuit. Papa No-Comes behind. Right, that is push to pass from No-Comes. It is push to pass from Checkers. Big Al does not. Papa No-Comes runs slightly wide there. Will now be out of push to pass just as Big Al activated it, which Big Papa No-Comes is not going to have the advantage here on the turn number 1. Big Al has got to do all that he can to use that push to pass on every single straight now. He's saved up 2 minutes of it. And he will be trying to utilise as much as he can, I'm sure about that. Checkers down to 9 seconds left, and we get onto the braking zone. That is Papa No-Comes to the inside, but he locks up, and Big Al tries to get back through, but Papa No-Comes makes the move. Big Al then gets to the inside. It's side by side for 3rd place. Big Al on the inside line. Papa No-Comes on the outside. The last time we went side by side through here, we saw contact. Is it going to happen again? No, they give each other more than enough room, and around the outside, Papa No-Comes holds on to it. But Kevin Parrish is going to come round the final turn, and Parrish is going to win for the 2nd time this season. He is your first repeat winner of season number 2. Checkers will take home 2nd. Big Al will use that push to pass to try and take 3rd back, but Papa No-Comes takes the podium. Matt Malone will chase down Matty Gwill. He used all of the push to pass, but he just won't get it to the end. Richard Dempsey and Space Ghost have a big accident across the line. Dempsey takes 15th position. What happened here? It was contact between Dempsey and Space Ghost onto the final corner. We ride on board with Richard Dempsey here. He's got so much more speed. He moves to the left, moves to the right. He just strives straight into the back of Space Ghost there. Space Ghost unable to take the checkered flag. He will get the points though. But it was victory in the end for this man here, Kevin Parrish. It is the first time we have seen a repeat winner this season. Kevin Parrish is your first repeat winner of season number 3 and finds himself now with two victories to his name. What an excellent job that was. Right, let's have a look then at our race results here at Phillip Island. Kevin Parrish won that one by over 9 seconds with minimal usage of the push to pass as well. Checkers came home in 2nd place ahead of Papa No-Comes, who stole the podium off of Big Al at the end of it. Matty Gwill came home in 5th place ahead of Matt Malone. Just a couple of tenths between them. Slugger crossing the line in a season best result for him in 7th, which he's tied with his round 2 and round 4 here at round 7. Casket Man, 8th position for him out of Meckham, and Right Click took home 10th place. It was lap traffic in 11th ahead of Milky Illidale's. Carl Ditch took home 13th ahead of Tony Jabroni. Richard Dempsey a lap down in the end with Space Coast. Didio Deadman 2 laps down. Orban Carl out of the race in 7 laps down in 18th place. And Provi caught up with the accident with Richard Dempsey out of the race 15 laps down, right on the second lap of asking, of course. With that being said, then, we have a change in our championship lead, and it is Checkers and Kevin Parrish, who are now tied at the top with 100 points each going into our week's break ahead of the Dirt Oval round in 2 weeks' time. Big Al and Richard Dempsey are tied in 3rd place with 96 points each. The championship still very much up for grabs at the top there. And of course, don't forget the top 3 are your drivers that take the rewards out of the season. So it really does matter where you are finishing inside that top 4 as well. Matty Gwill holds on to 5th in the championship, maintaining his best of the rest abilities. However, this time not directly involved with the championship fight as it stands. He sits 4 points clear of Matt Malone. Mecharm is in 7th ahead of Papanoka, and Slugger in 9th position. He moves back into the top 10 ahead of Auburn Kyle. 11th place is Powski ahead of Master Yota Racing. Milky Illidales takes 13th in the championship now ahead of Casket Man, tied with Tony Jabroni. Rydog in 16th ahead of Provi. Bob's Jelly in 18th place, sitting ahead of Sean Sims, and Carl Ditch rounds out your top 20 in the championship. Lap Traffic sits in 21st place, a point clear of Mads Lunde. Space Coast in 23rd ahead Josh Stafford and Tootle Gred. Jeff Snackle sits in 26th ahead of Clay Devon. Drux TV in 28th position. Didio Deadman in 29th, and Right Click rounds out your top 30 in the championship. You then have Lobster Racing and Marshy Mello. Netcode Ninja and Tom Payne is your last of your drivers with your points. However, we have seen more drivers out there just unable to take the points as it stands. Greg Fronek, Turbo Snail, Michael Van, Mike Lister, Neil Trotter, Jagelbomb yet to take any points, along with Extra Pickles. 41 names in this championship at the moment. What a race it was. What a season it has been so far. We still have 3 more rounds to go. We head to Bristol Dirt in 2 weeks' time. Make sure you are following over here on the Twitch page so you're notified when we go live, as well as you are subscribing over to the YouTube. We'll be live over there, and we will be putting up our highlight videos as well, of course. We'll then be taking another week off after Bristol, before we head to Red Bull Ring and the Dallara P2s. And then we head to Chicago Street in the TCRs for the final round of the season. And with that being said, then, Kevin Parrish is our first double race winner of the season. It took to the 7th round of asking. We're still yet to see a repeat pole sitter, but Parrish was the man to break the water off the duck's back in the race sessions. Who is going to be the next driver to try and match him on 2 wins this season? Is it going to be one of his competitors? Tied at the top of the points now, we do have Checkers and Kevin Parrish. Tied in 3rd, we have Big Al and Richard Dempsey. The championship is all to play for. 3 rounds left to go, and we will be heading out to Bristol in 2 weeks' time. Make sure you don't miss it. So until next time, it's goodbye.
Engines humming, lights burn bright. Another season, broad daylight. History written, legacies free. Welcome back, this is season 3. Slugger ruled when it all began. Season 1, the original hand. Richard Dempsey took the crown. Season 2, he shut it down. Now the grid is back again. New contenders, old revenge. Same league, higher velocity. Every lap Wright's hit. Champions now history. Who's next when the lights go green? Welcome to the grid, season 3.